Small Town Scuttlebutt.
Yeah, guys, what's going on? It's Rick Fink Jr.
What's up?
Can you hear me on the? I don't know. Okay,
I can hear you.
we're on YouTube now and not doing the best.
That means we're famous.
No, it
right?
just means we're actually checking the boxes on what you're supposed to do if you have a podcast these days.
We have a channel on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's like 3 things on it. Our swinger video, a couple clips.
I mean, that got over 1,000 views.
Not
which
surprised.
I consider viral.
Huh. Oh, can we talk about viral for a second? Remember, I was talking about Evan last week. We were talking about this video I posted of my kid really doing the weaponized incompetence with picking up sticks in the yard, and I got roasted by people about your son has ADHD. You need to address that. You're a shitty dad for not being out there with him. Yada yada yada. It was a video, and it was funny, and I don't know. God damn, what was
Haters gonna hate, Rick, no matter what you do.
Yeah, it's I don't know.
I mean, Evan, you should know that. You post a ton of video content, and I'm sure as quote-unquote harmless as most of it probably is, you're always going to find someone lurking in the shadows just waiting.
Embrace the hate,
Yes.
right? Embrace the hate.
Yeah.
That video I put up, though, it had over 25,000 views.
Seriously?
Yeah. I think that's viral, right?
I would think so.
I mean, it's the most viral we ever got.
Sure.
Our record was 5,000. Everybody at Small Town Scuttlebutt, we're in the basement in a satellite setup while we redo the studio. And you might see a unfamiliar, quasi-familiar face. It's his fourth
That's me.
appearance. His name's
4.
Evan Walsh.
I'm on the 4 tour.
Yeah, you're here.
He's like
and-
our Alec Baldwin. Like, Alec Baldwin has been on Saturday Night Live more
Don't
than
shoot.
anybody else. Yeah.
Bad reference.
Sorry.
Yeah. You're like our Lizzie Borden.
Right.
You're like, I'm literally comparing a hatchet-wielding psychopath
She
to...
was found not guilty.
She was?
She was.
Well, you know what?
So,
Alec Baldwin will be too.
Alleged hatchet-wielding psychopath.
That's funny. Well, then who did it? I don't know. Well, this show is not about Lizzie Borden
Or Alec Baldwin.
Yeah.
For that matter.
or anything. All I was trying to say is we're on video now, and welcome. Happy to have you here. Liz Daly and I are the hosts of the show. Evan's been a reoccurring guest. He's been really cool. He kind of checks a lot of boxes to be a third mic. Mm-hmm. He wants to be a podcaster. He is, some consider him funny. And he's local, you know,
Yep.
and we like him.
We do.
Oh,
But
that's nice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always liked, excuse me, I've always liked the idea of 3 people, you know, because a conversation sort of needs a tiebreaker. There's opportunity for ganging up on someone.
Yes. And you and I agree on a lot of things, so it's kind of nice. Like, hopefully, Evan, you won't always agree with Rick and I. Bring some
good.
discourse.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah. I mean, it's nice that we all are kind of like, you know, rowing in the same direction. But it's okay to... How are we going to grow, Liz, if we just go, yeah, that's right. Good point. I agree.
It's not gonna happen.
I need some. So, Evan, I know that you're a like-minded person for the most part, but let's just bring that. You know, we can mess it up. What's it called? We play devil's advocate. We'll do that.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah. Antagonist, protagonist,
Yes.
you know?
Yep.
Absolutely.
Again, really literary with us now.
I mean, do you want me to use smaller words?
Yes, maybe he's too smart for the podcast.
Let's talk about rising action and climax and fall. Oh, go back to climax.
Yeah, wait, what?
Yeah.
I can definitely dumb it down.
Liz and I get pretty perverted on the
We
show,
do.
too. I don't know why. It's Friday at 8:30 and we're just...
All right.
I've kind of had
Excited.
it with the week, so yeah. You know what? Bring it.
All right, so Liz, we have to talk about. We'll do our regular show, but I also think that we just don't invite Evan onto the show. I mean, we have to give him a proper interview.
Yes,
all right?
I would agree.
Okay.
Oh, boy.
So Evan,
Yes.
you can sit, hang, crack wise. Your third mic today. It's
Okay.
part of. It's sort of a what do you call it when you're put in the situation? We see how you do during the interview
Oh,
process.
a stress test.
I was going to call it a simulation, but okay, we're just checking you out.
Okay.
We will have a formal interview with you, But before we do that, we like to go around. The format of the show
Yeah.
is we like to go around, just check in, say hi, how you
Yeah.
doing? And I haven't seen Liz for a week, so Liz, what's going on in your world? What's new?
Oh my God, what's new? So I have to take my son to rent a tux this weekend because he's going to his girlfriend's junior prom.
Oh yeah,
Which is a big deal.
How old is
I feel
he?
Like. So he's a sophomore.
Yep.
She's a junior.
Good for him.
And, he's a dopey, almost 16-year-old boy. We talked about the whole tux thing. And, and I said, you have to ask her exactly what she wants you to wear. Okay. Because we're not getting what you want. We're getting what she wants. And I said.
And you'll be doing that for the rest of your life.
Exactly. And I said, we also have to get her a corsage. And he goes, what's that? I was like, sweet Jesus. But he has no reason to know what a corsage is. So I pulled up pictures and I sent him a couple of images and I said, show these to Amelia because again, we'll be getting her what she wants. You don't show up with something ugly or, that doesn't match her dress.
Yeah, better figure that out.
Exactly.
Can I just jump in real quick? I like the name Amelia.
I know. It's so
a
pretty.
nice name. We were talking about Betty last week from APC Pest Control.
Yep.
Yeah.
Lovely lady, lovely name. It's classic. Amelia. It's pretty. It's timeless.
It is.
It is
It's been
timeless.
gone for a while, but it's come back, and
Yep.
it felt like an old friend. Amelia. It's like,
Sure.
It's like my grandma. Okay. Anyway.
So I feel like this is sort of like a big milestone,
Absolutely.
for him. And there's 4 years between Will and my twins. And it's just interesting how big those 4 years seem right now. Because there was a brief time where it didn't seem that big and we could all go do the same thing together and they would all enjoy it. And that's just so over now.
Yeah. There's definitely that. You need to cross this threshold to hang with me, and
I think they call it puberty.
yeah. That's right.
And
Right.
it was for me.
As soon as that voice changed, he was like, no thanks.
Bye, Mom.
You guys need to cross the threshold. Yeah.
I'll never forget the day.
That was my-
when
oh,
he-
that was my
Peter
voice.
Brady puberty voice.
Was that bad?
I literally feel like his voice changed overnight. He was in the basement playing Xbox and I heard him yelling and I was like, there's a fucking strange man in my basement. And that was my son.
Dude, I'm gonna beat you.
Yeah, it's wild. So anyway, that's what's going on with me.
Mom, bring me some milk.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. These are the stories we love to hear because they're relatable, right?
Absolutely.
We're reaching out to the Gen Xer homeowner or the family.
Yeah. The parent
like-
juggling things and,
Yeah.
competing priorities and all that. So
Yep. So
we're here for you.
People are hearing Liz and going, oh, okay, I'm not the only one that has to deal with this stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy. And we're all just doing the best we can. I was thinking the other day, because when I dropped him and his buddy off at the mall, how you and I were talking about parenting is always the best of times and the worst of times. Like no matter what phase of parenting you're in, you're like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
But then it's awful. It's like, it's awesome because he's maturing and we have these great conversations and I can see him being more independent and understanding the real world and all of that. But then it's just awful because like any second now, he's going to get his license and he's going to be gone and we're not going to have those conversations and all that. So it's very bittersweet time, I feel like.
Yeah.
And you can apply that literally to any phase of parenting. I feel
Oh, with
like.
their cute little baby.
Yeah.
New baby smell.
Right.
They still shit in a diaper.
Exactly.
There's always
They're
the
changing
yang
a
to the
diaper,
yin, right?
New baby smell.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about,
Oh,
right?
I do.
Do you think they have a car air freshener or a Yankee Candle new baby smell?
No.
I bet they do.
I bet they do.
Some wacko is
Completely.
hanging
If
that.
Gwyneth
Yeah.
Paltrow can have a vagina scented candle, I bet you my next paycheck there's a new baby.
I
smelling
think we
candle.
should buy one for the show.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
The vagina one?
Why
Or-
not?
Oh.
See where it goes.
All right, let's just.
Like I don't want it smelling like low tide in here, Evan. Okay.
What
It could be like a field of daisies. I mean, you don't know.
Oh, I mean,
Who knows? But that's why we should try
have
it.
you come across a vagina that smells like a field of daisies?
It's like one. It'll be.
And here we go.
There were these two women.
Summer's Eve.
Spring break, Cancun.
There's Hurricane Betty's out in Western Mass. We'll get into that story one time.
Okay.
Not now.
All right. Anywho, so that's my update.
You totally threw me off.
Sorry.
With the, I was thinking new baby smell, and I was gonna make a joke about marcomium, right? The first poop. But you went right to the vagina.
Of course they did.
All right, the vagine. Welcome, Evan.
Thank you. So glad to be here.
You still want to be here?
I mean, am I doing good so far?
So far.
All right. So far, so good.
So Liz, we got to keep an eye on.
My God.
Well, I think this is it. This is the trilateral commission of wit and witticism and perversion, and
She really opens the door.
Yeah.
You know?
she invites it. No, well, I've said to Liz, and she says, I've heard this many times, but you're one of the guys.
Yeah.
You're definitely one of the guys. Okay, so can I tell you about my my experiment with being only positive?
Yes.
I had almost...
Yes.
Not to make it all about me, but it is my fucking podcast, okay? And you're in my house, so listen to what I have to say. Since Lent, I always not jokingly, like I have faith, but I'm not a Bible thumper. I don't even go to church, really, but I used to, you know? Yep. But every Lent, I'm like, what am I going to give up? And it's something. Like, I'll give up Netflix. I'll give up, ice cream. That one was a bitch. This year, I gave up negativity. I thought, this is impossible. It'd be funny to at least try, But I've been doing very well. I can be critically think through something. I can examine something and go, I disagree, but I don't have to shit on it, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So I've been very positive. The other day, I was thinking about, like, I've heard enough sports radio as I was working in the podcast studio. I'm like, I want to go back to music. And I'm like, but there's no music. We were talking about, I don't even know who Dua Lipa is. Like, I know I sound like the old man. I do know who Dua Lipa is. I know her songs. I'm familiar. I have kids, so it's unavoidable.
You can't, yeah.
But I was thinking, what happened to the rock? Like, they don't make music that I want to consume anymore. We're very pop heavy. Right?
Oh, yeah.
It's all about pop. There's no ensemble of musicians with things called instruments in their hands anymore, right?
Sure.
Like Taylor Swift plays a guitar. She's a musician. She writes her songs. I give her credit. But these other people, they just sit behind a computer in a window with a earpiece told, all right, we're going to harmonize this next one.
Yeah.
I don't get it. So I was like, go back in time. Just explore. And I'm thinking, my old regulars, Pink Floyd, Dire Straits, Aerosmith, maybe some old U2. But I'm like, go farther. I ended up hearing some John Lennon.
Oh.
Wow.
Okay, I was like, John Lennon. And there was a song that, remember I was talking about how I was getting a little teary when I was watching the movie Inside Out with my daughter.
Yes.
I'm not saying John Lennon made me cry or anything, but, I dote on my wife a little bit on the show. I like her. She's a good woman.
She's a
I like
likable
her.
lady.
Yes. And I was listening to a song. The song is called Oh Yoko. Are you familiar with it?
No. Both Evan and I have the same look on our face.
Well,
like,
of course,
Yoko.
because everybody knows. Okay, I'm not gonna. We could do a whole episode. I'm finally gonna break my silence on the John and Yoko relationship.
The world has been waiting for this.
I've been holding on to it since he passed in 1980, and I think it's time. Wow, it's been 44 years, right?
Okay.
Wow.
Anyway,
Do you want to grab the tissue?
Yeah. No. My point is, he wrote. Okay, we don't like it, Yoko, right?
Right.
She broke up the Beatles. I'm not gonna. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I'm not gonna go low, but she doesn't turn me on, and she has no talent. We can hit. That we can attack.
She thought she did. She thought she was a singer. She thought she was an artist.
There's songs where she sounds like she's meowing.
She's just screaming. She's just screaming. She's yowling. She's yowling. Yeah.
I would argue she does have a talent. And that is, she did break up one of the greatest bands of all time.
There you go.
That's right. That's right.
Does that play into
I don't know
the negativity thing?
No. No, so I'm listening to this song. Aside the fact that it's to a woman who we all kind of, society's judged her as the woman who broke up the best band at the time, right?
Sure.
Everyone knows they're not. Anyway, I'm listening to the song and I'm thinking, this is the goddamn happiest, most beautiful love song that's upbeat. And I was listening to it and I'm listening to the words and I'm like, and he even got like a little like silly with it, but it built up the silliness into the crescendo of it. Oh, there you got me. And that's when I had the emotional like hook. And I said, I had to go upstairs and I said, Leslie, have you ever heard John Lennon's Oh Yoko? She said, no. And she had the same reaction. Like, why would I want to hear? I said, I know. It just was on the feed. I was listening to it. And I want to tell you something. you know I love you. And if I could muster up any creativity and musical talent and write you a song, it would be just like that.
Aww.
And then I played it for her. And she goes, oh, wow. And then she's like, I have the same feeling about that song, Delilah. I'm like, I hate that fucking song. You know that song?
I do. By
like,
Train? Or
no,
no?
it's the White Tees.
The plain white tees or whatever. Yeah.
That song irritates me. I'm like, I'm trying to be positive. I can't go negative. I just
Did she ruin your moment with that reference?
No, because I just dismissed it. But then she told me about that song, the back. She said, I just love the backstory. I said, what's the backstory? He's like, well, this guy who wrote the song met a girl who had a boyfriend at this party or something, and he was just so taken away by her. I'm like, he wrote a love song about a woman that he's not going to get because she's already with someone else? What a loser. Like did the girl hear the song and go, oh my God, that's me?
Right.
Like, yes, like it was revealed after it became a hit that he was asked who was the song about, and they found the girl, and they actually did a media tour together.
Wow.
And I'm like, and he still didn't get in? Like, on the tour without the boyfriend?
If he didn't get laid on that tour, homeboy has no game.
I know.
Oh my God.
He wrote a song about her.
And he's bringing you on tour. Like, give it up just once.
We are in Sydney, Australia. Your husband is in Sheboygan, okay? Or your boyfriend, who you met like 6 months ago. I wrote a goddamn song. What did he do? Take you to Chili's? Okay. Yeah.
Although if you're that enamored, I'm going to go true crime here. If you're that enamored by someone after like an instant meeting that you obsess so much about it that you write a song, you might end up killing her.
Yeah. Liz is our resident true crime expert.
I've heard.
You're real estate. You're true crime.
Yeah.
I'm still thinking about what I want to do. I got a lot of irons in the fire, but where am I going to?
So going back to your comment about music and everything's so pop heavy these days, which I agree with, but I don't know if that's just because we're only exposed to what our kids expose us to. Like, is there? I don't listen to terrestrial radio at all, but is there a radio station now like WBCN when we grew up where it was more alternative music where you could find stuff that maybe you would like better? I don't know.
So I have this incredible pet peeve, and that is. So, 100.7, what is it?
Is that ZLX?
Is it
no,
ZLX?
I don't know.
It's the classic rock station, right? Yeah. So, growing up, when I was in high school, classic rock was like all the stuff from the 70s, really good.
In
like
60s, yeah.
But rock and roll, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And now it's Guns N' freaking Roses. Yeah. So, like, that ain't classic rock. That's metal. Right. Or, So, anyway, I don't like how they're just kind of like moving the timeline on what classic rock is. Because to me, classic rock still will forever be the stuff from the 70s and the 60s, like you're saying. Yep. So, but yes, those, they still exist,
I like what Sirius XM does with their channels and how they break stuff up. They have a channel and they call it cassette era classic rock.
Oh.
Which as a Gen Xer, you're like, oh, you're talking 1982 to 1988.
Yes.
Exactly.
Right? I never did the 8-track. I went from Michael Jackson's Thriller record to what was the next thing? The first cassette was Don't Punch Me. It was a gift for Christmas. Tears for Fears songs from the big chair.
All right. Okay.
Not a bad one. I mean, it was okay.
My first cassette was Quiet Riot.
Nice.
Mental Health.
Dude.
Oh my God. That's awesome.
You just freaking crushed me.
Yeah.
That was awesome. You remember that album cover? It was like a guy with like
a metal mask.
A mask, like a mental patient, Mad Max Thunderdome.
No, it was awesome. Yep.
And they had Come On, Hear the Noise.
Come on, feel the noise.
Yeah.
Come spelled appropriately, C-U-M. Right? No. At least ZZ Top called it a pearl necklace. Yeah. Like you had to think a little bit. Like, no, we're just gonna say fucking lick it up. God, these guys.
Or pour some sugar on me.
Yeah, I never knew what that meant. Was that? Because you're the dude.
I mean,
I think it's lovin'.
Yeah.
Yeah, but pour some sugar on me, like that reference.
I'm hot, sticky, sweet.
Yeah, I'm like
from my head to my feet.
Yeah.
I'm like, you have sticky feet. You need to take a shower. You are one dirty bitch. I know we just met and we will part ways in 20 minutes, but I want to go without any baggage. You know what I'm saying?
I'll tell you, Def Leppard had quite a history at their shows. Like There's some wild stories about Def Leppard.
What, groupies or
like,
after show? Def Leppard, they seem like a nice British band that. Honestly, I kind of think of Def Leppard as like they would read after a concert.
Oh, yeah, no, not so much.
I see them as performance rock and rollers. I don't see them as, but I could.
Yeah, they were performance rock and rollers,
but they
in a different way.
Really,
oh my
I had
God.
no idea.
So they have these crazy stories. So like they were a huge band. They put on these big shows, and so they would have like all the stage equipment where like like the elevator, they pop up from the floor. They would bring groupies down underneath the stage during the show, and they would like kind of run through them, if you will, and like take turns, but like the music wouldn't stop.
Proper name.
I'm still trying to pick it up. I'm still trying, So anyway, so they're doing all these crazy things, but sordid history. From
how do you do that with one arm? I wonder. Just kidding. I don't have to wonder. It's very.
I miss VH1 Behind the Music. Now that you are bringing this up, you guys used to watch that, right?
Oh,
The Motley Crue one was awesome. The Go-Go's. Holy
what were they?
Shit.
Were they a rambunctious group?
They would have given Motley Crue a run for their money.
Wow.
Come on,
between
really?
the drugs and the sex and oh my God.
That's
yes,
great.
there's actually a documentary I think on Showtime about it now, which like even if you weren't a fan of the Go-Go's, it's just sort of that era of music. It's awesome.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
We're talking like 70s, 80s, going from kind of
80s.
Punk to
punk. Yeah, because they started as a punk band. None of them even knew how to play any instruments, and and then they skyrocketed to fame, and were just banging everything in sight, snorting everything in sight, like just
getting down
and dirty. Yep.
I used to be in marketing. I worked at a 10,000 seat arena, like a facility, and we would take in shows. And I would be the media liaison. Like one of my jobs, the funnest thing would be every concert you get the media credentials to the media people that the show has said these are the people, and then you take them, you credential them, and you bring them to the pit. That 3-foot gap between the stage and the security guys and the barrier and all the fans, and they get to take their pictures and whatever. And then usually the show would say the first 3 songs, and then you can take them out. So 3 songs, the show, the whole intro, right? Everyone is like Ozzy and all these guys.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh my God. That's so cool.
Yeah. And, you know what I do a lot is like fucking...
Lose your train of thought?
Yes. I went too far down the coolness of the job.
You just played out the entire scene in your head, that whole memory.
Yes.
And then
forgot it.
Oh, wait a minute.
What the fuck?
And then you saw shiny objects
This is
over
a focus area. It's not funny. Like, so what was I talking about?
Were you going to talk about groupies or...
Yes. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Been there with Elton John. Ozzy Osbourne was, from me to you away, walking down, getting ready for the Mary Mayhem tour, while I was talking to Sully from Godsmack, petting his pit bull on one of those big giant
No way, really?
equipment
awesome.
boxes.
Oh,
So
that's cool.
that's the scene, right? And I remember Poison showed up.
Nice.
And Poison brought a whole different thing. It's like people come in, they get on the bus and they get out. Not Poison. Yeah. We're like, we are here. We're going to hit everything in town, and then we will leave.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll hit it twice, and then we will leave. We might even come back. I don't know. Anyway, this woman in the front, she had roses. She wanted to give it to Bret Michaels. She had the
He's so pretty.
Yeah. She had a black dress, very tight, short dress. And if you looked at the pattern, it wasn't really a pattern. It just said the word fuck on it all over the dress in white letters in a cool script, So I think she was, I think the kids on the shore call it DTF, right? She was ready to go.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then she bent over the stanchion thing to let us all know that she wasn't wearing underwear. And I'm like, wow, okay, now my job here is to probably, I don't know, it's a concert. You don't want to wear underwear. That's not my job. My job is the media. So I'm over here doing that. But they brought her, like there was a guy who's like, called her over. And then other girls were like, how about here, over here? Here's my boobs.
Right.
Like look at them. And they were just being like, yeah, you 7. Nope, we're good. And then I'm like, now what? They get to hang out on the side of the stage for the whole show. They get the best seats. And then after, they get to hang out with their idols.
Wow.
Amazing.
They get to be one of 100 women that gets nailed on the tour bus and forgotten about. That's what they get. And a great story.
Yeah.
But is that a story it's almost like you can't, it's a story that's great, but do you tell it?
I think you have, up to a certain age, you can tell it. And then afterwards, you're like, that was so fucking humiliating.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or you're like a grandma now, you know? And it's kind of like, oh, honey, let me tell you about the time I did Bret Michaels.
I'm like, Grandma, I'm still trying to grapple with this slut tattoo on your right shoulder blade. Might look cool when you're 24.
Yeah, do you think
it's now
that,
slut.
Right?
Slut.
Do you think that stuff still happens in sort of this post-Me Too era where women are getting plucked from the audience? And
now the guys have NDAs.
You
with the fuck me dress. Just sign the NDA.
Yeah, and leave your cell phone away.
Yes.
That's the other thing.
A couple weeks ago, we talked about the comedians that got canceled from that show in Seattle. One of them was Jim Florentine, and I've heard him tell stories on radio interviews that, back in the day when he's, going around from city to city, club to club, and he was banging whatever girl in the city he could. Yeah. He'd take these girls back to his hotel room. They'd do whatever they did. He would make sure that he walked her down into the lobby, stopped at the front desk with her to have some dumb, meaningless chat with whoever's at the front desk, walked her out, put her in a cab. So if, God forbid, she ever came back and said, like, I was raped, there would be people who would be like, well, I saw them and, everything seemed okay,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah, like 7, 8, 10 years later, people come forward and say, that was not consensual. And it's like, but we are a comedy podcast. And
right, so I don't want to get into
informed
consent right now.
But that is a wise move.
Yeah.
Right? Actually. Yes, I know. All right, do we have to do our March Madness bracket? Rick?
Well, remember we were going to take a week off.
Oh, that's right.
We want to hype it up. Mm-hmm. So we're going to, why don't we?
We have to get Evan's perspective, though.
Okay, so let's do the hype.
Yeah, let's do whatever you want. Let's go.
So, Liz, you facilitated the thing last year, so why don't you just present to us next week will be the final four. We're only taking the week off because we're way ahead of the actual tournament, and we wanted to kind of play along with them,
Yeah. So, all right, in our final four, we have the dime dropper versus the doo-doo dropper. So the dime dropper is like the neighbor that's going to call the cops if you've got a party.
We did this mistake last time. Remember, it's the brackets. We go...
Oh, yeah, sorry. So dime dropper versus gossip girl?
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's in the...
Take two.
The community conference.
Oh, yes. In the community conference, we have the dime dropper.
Yep.
So neighbor that's going to report you to the HOA, call the cops, blah, blah, blah. Versus gossip girl, who's sort of the neighborhood busybody that kind of wants to always know what's going on. Will always be like, oh, I think, the Smiths are having marital problems. Or, do you know little Joey down the street's on drugs? Or whatever.
Yeah.
So what do you think? Dime dropper versus gossip girl? For worst neighbor in the community conference.
This is a tight battle. Don't you think? I mean, they're kind of like one and the same, I feel like. The dime dropper and then the gossip girl. Mm-hmm. It's just one
Who's
is like,
worst?
I don't know. Jeez.
I like your where you're going with the similarity.
Yeah.
They both are observing and reporting.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Like, I see something.
And they're sticking their nose where it doesn't belong.
Yeah. This is a good one.
So
it's a good one. Good.
It really is.
It might go into overtime.
Quite a battle. So the problem with the dime dropper, though, is the dime dropper actually does something that could get you in trouble. Mm-hmm. The gossip girl kind of creates an aura about the situation that people have to decipher, right? Mm-hmm. So if it's my vote, I'm going the dime dropper is a worse neighbor.
Okay, well, I'm glad that you're here because I disagree. Oh. I think that socially being ostracized could be more of a penalty than, paying a $50 fee because you ran your sprinkler during a water ban, right? I don't get invited to parties anymore. I get people spit in my face when I go to the grocery store.
Wow, that's
because Sally opened her mouth about how I'm not going to tell you. But, what do you think?
I agree with Evan. I think the dime dropper is worse. But I told you before, I mean, I like the hot goss, Rick. So I might sidle up to Gossip Girl and just be like, so what's new?
Yeah.
And then just listen.
Okay.
You also have an opportunity to change opinions,
Exactly.
too, right? Like you could add or interject your own little tidbit, but
Or to plant something that's not even true and see how far it
The other
goes.
thing is, you can use both to your advantage.
True.
Right? If you don't like Bill across the street, but you don't want to like get your hands dirty, you just call Sharon over there, who is got the police department on speed dial.
Yep.
And you see Sharon. I don't know what you think, but neighbor across the street, not only was he talking shit about your hedges, but he's totally loud. Can you hear that off in the distance? That sounds like a radio by the pool. I think we should call that in, don't you think? I'm on it. Okay. Like you can use that, right?
it's sort of like the known versus the unknown too.
Right.
You know? So like the dime dropper, like you know, they get you in trouble and now that's a known. The gossip, it's like stuff that's happening in the background and you don't exactly know what's going on. So
I feel like this contest is like, when the
Neck and
AFC,
neck.
the AFC championship game is actually another sniglet, more highly contested than or anticipated than the Super Bowl itself.
Yeah.
It's like these two teams, Patriots and Kansas City Chiefs, right?
well,
Like this.
as we work our way through the field, it just gets more and more competitive.
Yes, exactly.
All right.
All right. So then we have the doo-doo dropper, which is the person that lets their dog poop on your lawn, sidewalk, whatever, and doesn't clean it up, versus loud equipment guy who's, running the leaf blower at 8 a.m. on a Sunday morning.
Which I witnessed in Dover, and the guy was blowing it into the air, and he was karate kicking leaves out of this.
So great.
And it was hilarious. I was like, wow. I wish I brought my phone with me. 'Cause I would ask to take a video of this and go viral twice in 1 week.
That would be, hey, there
Wow,
you go.
I'm really hitting the yard work niche here. The observing people doing yard work, apparently. Okay, go ahead.
I think the doo-doo dropper is worse, and here's why. The yard guy with the loud equipment noise and all that, yeah, it's annoying, but he's doing his job to keep shit clean, right? The doo-doo dropper, they just clearly don't really care,
Exactly.
Yeah.
They just let it sit there, and then you got to walk by it, and then what do? It's like you take your the edge of your shoe and you try to roll it slowly onto the grass. I'm not going to go back to my house and get a bag and pick it up. That's certainly not going to happen.
I've done that.
Have you?
Yeah.
For the neighbor's dog? Or a...
No. I've like if Rex, I bring 2 bags. Rex is a 2-bagger. Occasionally he goes 3. He's like, I'm going for the hat trick today, Dad. And I'm like, oh man, all right. And I'm standing there and I'm like, I just feel a set of eyeballs have to be on me.
Yeah.
Let's just assume they are. And even if they aren't,
Do the right thing.
do the right thing. And I can't be a hypocrite, right? I mean, sometimes I am a hypocrite, catch myself and I correct it.
How big is your dog?
35 pounds.
And he's a 2-bagger?
Yeah.
What do you feed him?
The fresh pet at the grocery store, the real stuff you put in your fridge.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
You
okay.
put dog food in your fridge? Yeah.
Yeah,
We love our dog. Anyway.
Does it make the fridge smell?
No, it's great. Oh,
It's in
actually,
a sealed bag.
Okay.
We're one of those.
my son
people,
is
too.
my son tries all dog food. It's hilarious.
Really?
Yeah. He and I were both eating the dog puffs. They're
Oh my God.
they actually taste like communion wafers. Just puffy. There's just no flavor. It's like I'm eating like
But Rex likes them?
Yeah, Rex will eat them. They're teas, dog puffs. Oh, you ever try that?
They're like communion wafers.
Yeah, dogs were like, imagine a dog gets into a bunch of.
Oh my God. So if Charlie runs out of popcorn, he's like, I'm just going to grab these puppy treats.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. He could get into worse things.
That is true.
That is
That is
definitely-
true.
I mean, some kids have to deal with a heroin addiction. My kid likes to just test dog food. That looks like human food. And the fresh pet, it's like nibbles of chicken with carrot chunks. And it's like, I could feed my kids this when Leslie's out.
Well, it's funny you say that because I was at Brothers the other
Microwave
day buying ice cream for the kids, and they have doggy ice cream
Yeah,
in the
peanut butter
thing.
flavored.
And I first didn't see the picture of the dog on the packaging. I just saw the picture of the treat. I'm like, oh, that looks good. And I'm like, oh, fuck, it's for dogs.
Yeah. So I can speak to that.
Did you find out before or after?
Thankfully before.
Okay.
She looked at the context clues.
Right.
Pet food aisle. Dog food. Cat
But
food.
they have them right next to human ice cream.
Yeah.
So-
Maybe the dog was just the mascot for
Right.
the, know.
So we've tried that ice cream too. Charlie's got me on to, if you're going to try it, I'll try it. It's that ice cream, just like the cheese puffs. Think of your food that you take every day without any sugar. And that's what dog food is. Yes, exactly.
Is that right?
Yes. Yeah, that's what it is. It's like...
And dogs ain't got no cavities?
Yeah, it's like this niblet of chicken tastes like I'm just chewing on a tasteless... There's not much flavor.
Yeah.
There's a
like silly,
effervescence of...
Silly putty.
Yeah.
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 You ever eat silly putty?
I wouldn't know, but apparently we'll get into that.
Look, you eat dog food. I chewed silly putty.
My God.
I ate cat food once too. That was not as good.
Yeah. Was that on a dare, or you were just like?
I was like, I was a kid.
Okay.
And they were like the little star-shaped ones.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I thought that was great. Like, little snack time.
Meow Mix is what it was.
Yeah.
I know, because I tried it too when I was a kid. I was watching the neighbor's cat. I'm like, this doesn't look so bad. I was hungry. Okay, can I
sorry. I use them like croutons now.
Right.
Put them on my salad.
Little texture.
I think a restaurant, if it had a sense of humor, they could put like, additions on a thing of salad. Croutons, cheese, sunflower seeds.
Oh, there you go.
Meow Mix.
Just put Meow Mix. Just see what
goes great.
See if anyone's reading the thing.
It goes great with Greek dressing.
Oh.
Yeah.
You say so. I think we should do an ad. I think we need to
All right.
acknowledge our friends that kick some ass over at Medfield's best martial arts school.
Oh, yeah.
But I would say the greater Medfield area, like if you're within a 10-mile radius of the greater Medfield area, you might want to take that extra minute or two in traffic to get your kid to that establishment.
Absolutely.
Have you ever taken karate?
No, but I have a really great story. This is Perez, martial arts.
Yeah.
It's a really cool story. So Mr. Perez would come to, or Sensei Perez would go to the daycare where my daughter was. And they would offer, I think that was at the Goddard School, and he'd come in like once a month and give the kids a little karate class.
Okay.
And I'll tell you, my daughter absolutely loved it. And then at the very end of his little session, he invited everyone to the dojo, and he had these kids that were like, 3 years old come up, and they would all break the board. It was absolutely the coolest thing as a parent, of a young child, that when she broke that board, it was like, the accomplishment, all the stuff that came with it was just so cool. So she's now unfortunately into dance, and would love to get her back there, but it was really cool.
The Roxettes had to turn her down because her kids were a little too aggressive.
Right, yeah.
She knocked out.
You just knocked down the chandelier. Okay? Ashley, we'll call you next year.
But we still have the board. So.
That's
great.
awesome.
It's
That's
a really cool thing.
It's that says something. Like, she kept the board. Like, this is probably the first time she wowed herself.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Amazing
Right?
accomplishment.
And now she destroys stuff all the time.
Yeah, that's right. So you're gonna send Mr. Perez a bill?
Yeah, I'm just gonna send him the
damage.
refrigerator door. That she ripped off the.
That was a Sub-Zero, Perez. Okay, Liz, have you ever taken karate?
No, I for someone who's not all that large, I'm, as my sister likes to say, curiously strong. I think I would just end up hurting myself or someone else inadvertently, and doing things like that is not a good idea. I've broken probably just as many things in my home as my kids have, because I'm just an aggressive person. Like, everything I do is like, I drive fast, I talk fast, I walk fast, I'm loud. Like, I don't belong anywhere that requires like discipline and precision.
You have two speeds, it sounds like.
Yes, completely.
Yep.
Yeah.
I definitely see that hustle. But do you really think it translates into slamming doors and cabinets and things like that? Is that what you're
Ask my husband. It absolutely does.
When you open up the silverware drawer, like, you open it and then all the silverware keeps moving and slams in.
And and I don't even know I'm doing it. So like, when I go to close the silverware drawer, I hear from the other room, "Jesus, Liz!"
Yeah.
I was like, "I've already fixed that twice."
And that's with the slow close hinges.
It's funny. Right.
Yeah, like, I'm a problem.
That's funny. Leslie and I get her more on this, and we don't. You don't like to be corrected by your spouse, right?
Right.
Especially in real time.
You feel like a child.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we both actually appreciate it, because we both are guilty of it. Leslie more, like probably 3-to-1 ratio on. loud talking. Like we'll be at someone's house, and all of a sudden she's talking like this in the conversation, and I'm like, I don't know. And then I went to pick up, and my son wasn't there. So it's funny because then he called me on his watch, and I'm like, you're loud talking, and she goes, oh, I'm sorry. And then she gets back and she just keeps going. So anyway, the bus showed up. Charlie wasn't on it, and I'm like, that's so much better.
Now you can't even hear it.
And people all like it. I think it's a good indicator of where our marriage is, because usually people get pissed off, but when you get thanks, like.
Well, she's obviously self-aware.
Yeah,
she's like, oh shit, I don't want to be the loud talker.
Right.
Okay, cool.
And then we joke about it, or she'll look at me and she'll just be like. You're getting like animated.
My wife called me out on this last night. She was at her indoor golf at the Kingsbury Club, and we both play in the league. And anyway, I went there to support her, and I get there and find out that the other team hadn't shown up, so they won. And nice. So anyway, I'm talking to my buddy about real estate and all this stuff, and my wife turns around. She's like, honey, you're talking so loud. We can all hear you. And I'm like, I am not talking that loud, And of course, went back and forth. But I will not relent. I will not relent. There's a time you got to push back. Right. You got to push back.
Right. Yeah. I'm talking in all caps right now because it's wicked important. Well, funny thing is, we were talking about karate, which was, and the whole point was because we have an advertiser who runs one of the most elite,
absolutely,
I would say a karate studio, but it's more of a character building.
Yeah,
it's more about the confidence, the integrity. Mr. Perez will talk to the kids about expectations outside of his studio.
Yeah,
you have accountability to your teachers. You have accountability to your parents and guardians and your neighbors, your friends, and that. So is it about getting to that black belt? Well, that's the journey, that's the destination, but along the way, there's just. You don't have to wait to get the black belt to get the reward. I mean, every class is going to be bringing that to you.
Yep.
That's our personal stuff. But let's just bring it home with the boilerplate stuff. Find out why so many people in Medfield turn to Perez Martial Arts for their martial arts training. Parents just like you have discovered how to maximize their child's potential and accelerate their development. Request more information or get started today with our exclusive online-only offer. Okay, so you want that offer? You can call them at 508-203-1777 or go online at perezmartialarts.com. And that concludes our advertising portion.
That was great. That was awesome.
I thought it was great.
Well done, Rick.
Well, your story, Evan, really you can't put, that's a priceless testimonial.
Exactly.
I mean,
it really is.
You were there, you witnessed it.
Mm-hmm.
It was one of the greatest days of my life, for real.
Aww.
And I'm sure it was for her, too.
Yeah. That's sweet.
I like our new advertising format where we're just going to talk about that thing. And
I think it's great.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, we're done. I think Perez Martial Arts got their money's worth, and we won't give them another nickel. Not another nickel.
I want 10%.
We do this for the money. We do. Well, I'm in podcasting for the financial windfall.
I have a callback reference.
Do it.
Remember, I think about a month ago, I said to Rick that my husband, we was in the middle of the workday. I'm in my office. He's in his office. He just randomly yells into me, "Hey, hun, I think I'm going to check out that new Roadhouse movie, even though I hate Jake Gyllenhaal." So we just started talking about movies. So he watched it last night.
Okay.
He said it was good.
Really?
He said he liked it.
How did it compare to the original?
Not as douchey.
Well, then it sucks.
Right? I mean, the whole point of watching the original Roadhouse is because it's super douchey.
Absolutely.
So yeah, no, he said it was good. He said he was pleasantly surprised by Conor McGregor's acting ability. So
did it have a monster truck in it?
Oh, I don't know. I'll have to ask him.
That was one of my favorite parts.
Yeah. So I just wanted to give the Roadhouse remake movie review got 2 thumbs up from Dan Daly.
Okay, that's cool. I heard about the movie from my wife this morning, actually.
Oh, funny.
Yeah, and she had all she could talk about was Jake Gyllenhaal's body.
Yeah, he gets pretty ripped.
He has not had a carb in 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
He is. And I'm like, okay. She just keeps going. I mean, you had to see this body. It was, like the symmetry. It was all, oh my God. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but she was going on. And I'm like, wow, you were like that when you talked about, what was that movie, Baywatch with
Oh, Zac Efron?
Zac Efron.
Yeah.
Do you remember the scene where The Rock and Zac Efron do the obstacle course on
Yes.
the beach? And it was just basically, it was funny. I think it was supposed to be
Very
funny.
campy movie.
It was, but it was over. Like, look at these ripped, oiled up, tan bodies, and like.
What movie was this?
The Baywatch, like movie
they
with
remade
The Rock.
Baywatch.
Yeah.
Boy,
And Zac. This was years ago.
Yeah.
Am I living under a rock or what?
Yeah, dude. Well, if you heard my wife talk about the scene, you think my wife would want to be under a rock.
Okay.
That was a dad joke. That was a total
That was a
loser
good
dad
one.
joke.
That was.
I'm calling myself out. That was so lame. I think we should leave it in there as punishment.
Yep.
Yeah.
Agreed.
It's not going in. Sorry, folks. Should we get into the interview with Evan?
Yeah, we were like 45 minutes into the show.
Yeah, but
Hey, listen.
let's just get a couple questions in, and
Yes.
then we'll wrap it up. I'm
Yeah.
sure you got to get on. You have a job.
I do. I do.
You have a job, but you own the company, so you can just delegate.
That's true.
You're a manager. You can just delegate. Why don't we just do an all-day show?
I love it.
Okay.
No holds barred.
All right. Evan, you want to be on the podcast?
I would love to.
Why? First question. Why?
What do you think you're bringing to the table that someone else won't?
I would like to think that I'm offering you an exclusive opportunity to deal with one of the best in many facets of life. And I think it's pretty obvious. How was that?
So you're going to
How was
make
that?
us answer it. You're like, it's like, well,
Wow, that's called a cliffhanger. You're good at cliffhangers. This is not a suspense podcast. We just want to set
This
up
is
and
like
punch.
real estate marketing 101, you know? Reverse it.
Oh,
And this is why you want it.
we want it. We want it.
Now I feel like we have to sell ourselves to him.
Yeah.
Now I'm uncomfortable.
What should we rename the podcast? Evan and Friends. Done. I love it. We like to have fun here. We are unapologetic.
I love it.
Yes.
You have to be unapologetic to be on the show, and you can't storm off in a hissy fit because you didn't like a divergent viewpoint. That's what we talk about on this. That's what brought this show to fruition.
I love it.
A safe space for free thinking.
Yes.
Perfect.
Tell it like it is, right, Liz?
Yes. And you
this-
have to be able to lean into perverted jokes and not get uncomfortable.
Like the
I think so far so good.
all we have to do is go back to the first 13 seconds of the show with Liz. Talking about feminine hygiene.
And scented candles.
Yes. Well, I'm satisfied. I'm all
I
set.
think
All
we
right,
checked
let's
all
go.
the boxes.
Yeah, you're hired. You're hired. Okay. Now, if you don't mind, just a couple of the back channel stuff that the third mic guy does.
Sure, yeah, let's hear it.
When we're done, you're just going to have to download this file, put it on your device,
Yep.
edit, and upload.
Oh.
I'm going to need, I think, 3 social media posts by 4 p.m. today. And let us know who the next guest is for next week when you have coordinated
Sure.
that.
I'll take it from here.
Yeah,
Okay.
No, I will say to Evan, I said, I want to ask you some questions in the interview tomorrow. Hey, just for fun, you want to feed me anything? Within 2 seconds, he wrote me this whole script. So this will be the speed round.
Yeah.
Questions Evan wanted to be asked.
Love.
Okay.
Because Rick was too. Actually, let's just cut to this one because I had it on my mind. Dover is home to a mythical creature called the Dover Demon that you claim to have seen.
Indeed.
What?
Describe
Wait,
it so we can decide
what's
whether
the
you're
Dover
legit
Demon?
or batshit crazy.
I've never heard this before.
You never heard this? This is on like national TV, like haunted,
Like supernatural type of
shows.
stuff?
Yes,
Oh,
Get
yes.
ready for this post to reach
It's got a
a
Wikipedia
million
page.
views.
Oh my
Yes.
God.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so
You
here's the
saw it.
story. Being a Dover Sherburne graduate, there was this story about the Dover Demon. It lives in all of these monster books and magazines and all this stuff. So supposedly back in the 70s, this kid was walking home from Dover Sherburne High School, and he saw what he claimed to be a little gray person with big red eyes and long fingers. And so if you look to find out what this thing looks like, that's exactly what it looks like. So anyway, years go by and, other people will kind of claim to see it and all this stuff. But I saw the Dover Demon. And this is
my
the
God.
story. I was at a friend's house. It was late at night. We were not drinking or doing any illegal activities.
So you were sober.
Totally sober. I just felt like I need to clarify that.
Yep.
And as I was driving home, it was about 11 o'clock at night. And as I was driving home, I was pulling onto Woodland Road in Sherburne. Mm-hmm. And the most bizarre thing, 3 black crows flew in front of my windshield. And I freaked out. I'm like, whoa, what was that? You know,
that's what you call a murder.
Night?
A murder of crows.
a murder of crows. Mm-hmm. So a murder of crows flies by the window at like 11 o'clock at night, which is bizarre. And I keep on driving down, and I get to Bridge Street, which is basically, it's the bridge that crosses over from Sherburne into Dover. Mm-hmm. And as I pull around the corner, all of a sudden, there is a gray beast in the middle of the road.
No.
And I slam on the brakes, and my headlights are just like, the eyes are lit up. They're like the size of softballs. Mm-hmm. And so basically, and then all of a sudden, it just took like 2 hops and it was off into the woods. And so I'm looking at this thing, and it was about the size. Well, okay. So
I'm sorry. I'm showing a picture. While you talk, I'm going to bring up the.
So what Rick is about to show you, ladies and gentlemen, is a picture of the Dover Demon. Notice the large elongated head, the lengthy fingers, good for grasping.
Oh my God.
Anyway, hairless, gray skin. Okay? No tail. And so I'm looking at this hairless, gray-skinned beast in the middle of the road with these giant eyes the size of tennis balls or softballs.
Describing it perfectly.
And
oh my God.
that is not exactly what I saw, but what I believe is I saw what he may have represented as that figure.
Okay.
So if you look at, and I invite everyone to do this, Google a hairless bear.
Okay.
And if you Google a hairless bear, that for most intents and purposes is exactly what I saw. So I believe I saw a gray hairless bear that people have dubbed the Dover Demon, and there you have it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Because at first I was going to say, is it did you say a coyote? But no, it doesn't sound like it.
Bigger than a coyote.
Okay.
Big, like a lot
Big?
bigger than a
Okay.
coyote. You know, but I mean, I guess it could have been like an emaciated bear. I'm telling you.
Hairless bear.
I'm telling you.
Oh God, that's a real thing.
So
that is, yeah. Pretty close. Without the hair around the ears.
Is a hairless bear like a breed of bear, or does that bear just have alopecia? Like what? I don't. What is going on?
That is the alopecia bear.
Right.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh
so
my
that was
God.
it. Yeah. So that was my Dover Demon story.
That would have freaked me out.
Yeah.
So now my name lives on in legend, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's another reason why you want me on the show.
That's true.
I wish you had a dash cam. I mean, we got to see. This is the stuff. It's like
This was 1996.
96.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have there been any recent sightings of this Dover Demon that we know of?
You know, I don't know.
I'm going to Google that later.
Yeah. Well, what I just realized is there's actually a book, The Dover Demon.
Really?
Yeah. About the incident from the 70s. Isn't that Hunter Shea or The Dover Demon?
Yeah.
Oh, I'd actually like to read that. I mean, it's talking about like down the street. Like
Yeah.
you actually know geographically exactly what they're talking about. Interesting. Okay.
Interesting.
All right. So, well, welcome aboard. You're on the show.
Hey!
Okay.
Do we have any paperwork that he has to fill out, or does he have to go through like sensitivity training? Like,
Well,
I have
first
to?
of all, no one gets paid, so there's no
Okay.
nothing there.
Not yet.
And
That's right.
yes, not
That's
yet.
right.
Yes, I always say. I mean, we get a deal with like Stamps.com or BetterHelp or whatever. You know, these. It's like they're advertising with every single
Every
podcast.
podcast I listen to has BetterHelp as an advertiser. True crime, stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
BetterHelp is just making it rain all over the podcast world.
Well, in the disciplines of podcasting or the genres where depressed people go, you know, like, oh, you like to hear about death. You must be sad.
This is brought to you by Lexapro.
Right, exactly.
Oh, you're listening to a sad clown on stage. You must be sad too. Like, how did they decide who?
I don't know.
Well, I guess you know what? In this post-COVID era, everyone's a little off their access, I guess, and right. But,
Oh yeah.
But you know what? They're not an advertiser, so let's stop talking about
Yeah.
Yeah.
BetterHelp. You know what? You know what I would call it instead of BetterHelp? Best Help. That's what I call it. I call best help. Let's go right to them.
Better than what?
Yeah. Good, better, and best. How much money do you have? Like,
Right.
press 3.
Do you take insurance?
Yeah. If you have insurance, press 3 for best help. Okay. All right, Liz, would you like to close up the show?
Sure. Well, welcome aboard, Evan.
Thank you. This is such an honor.
And listeners, you know what the deal is. If you like what you hear, rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Small Town Scuttlebutt. And send us a note, smalltownscuttlebutt@gmail.com, with your votes for the worst neighbor. As a reminder, in the community conference, we have the Dime Dropper versus Gossip Girl. And in the neighborhood conference, we have Doo-Doo Dropper versus Loud Equipment Guy. So you've heard our predictions. So send us your votes, and we will have the big reveal next week.
I think that the winners will be dictated at 100% on listener votes.
Yeah.
Right?
So
we kind of laid out our cases and our predictions. We're just,
we gave our opinions.
Yeah.
All right. Let your voices be heard, listeners. Catch you later.
Thanks, guys.
You always have to get the last word.